training on how to go about borrowing an audience. It's great to see you all that are able to join today. Um, Ultimately, the thing that we want you to be able to do after this training is to be able to generate leads without spending any money at all. The vast majority of agencies that we speak with are referral based only. And this runs the gamut of agencies doing $60,000 a year to $250,000 to multiple millions of revenue a year, where they're entirely referral based. And they're kind of just waiting by the door for a new lead to come in, which is ultimately very scary. This position to be in actually makes you feel like you're constantly in this place of famine, that you feel like you have to actually sell every single lead that comes through the door. And it ends up having loads of issues with your client relationships because you're not being selective on who you're working with. So you're working with people that you shouldn't be working with because you feel like you have no choice. That if you don't work with this particular person or this particular business, you're not going to achieve your goals, you're not going to grow, you're not going to be able to pay salaries, all of it, which has you in this constant place of anxiety. And that anxiety place leads to less than ideal decision making. And when we're not actively pursuing growth, we're just leaving the business to chance, kind of just hoping that we're able to get to goals. And hope is not a great business strategy. I would presume that you all agree. So what I want you to do is to not have to hope, is to actually start taking some action, to being able to get to a place where you're able to generate leads at zero cost without any outbound. And I want to preface that with not saying that you shouldn't be doing the outbound method as well, and having some method of being able to get in front of more eyes. That is a great method, but ultimately giving you a lead generation method that doesn't need and necessitate any outbound. So I want you to think about this for a moment. Your ideal client, the person that you should be working with, talk to people every single day. They have advisors, they have support from friends and family, they've got a team, they've got other vendors, they've got publications and knowledge building sources and podcasts and all sorts, right? That they are tapped into every day of their lives, that help them be able to accomplish their business goals or their personal goals. That those people that they have as their sources of information, support, their community, all of it, you don't have a relationship with them, but they have that relationship with that person. So think of this kind of as a pool, right? When you're thinking about referrals, it's all the people that you're interconnected to in a pool. In order for you to be able to get to a larger network, you need to get to either a bigger pool or new pools of people that allow for you to be able to build those connections and those relationships ultimately. And so what I want to give you guys today is a method by which you can actually start to find new pools, expand your network, and actually make your pool a bit bigger, allowing for you to actually be able to attract and bring in your ideal client on a more regular basis and not actually have it be kind of on a hope and a prayer. So let's start with the research piece to find these people, right? And so what I want you to do is actually think about podcasts, services, products and softwares, and ultimately just in general, where your ideal client's eyes already are today. There's services that you can utilize for this that I found particularly helpful, like SparkToro, that allows for you to put in titles and industries and things that actually show where ultimately your ideal client's eyes already are. But I want you just to go through and list out some people. If you're having a hard time doing this research, aside from SparkToro, there's a couple of other sources that you can be considering here as well. So look at a podcast that is focused entirely on serving the industry that you're serving. The guests that are on that podcast are likely the types of people that you should be reaching out to. Look at the trade publications that are associated with the industry of who it is that you serve. Those publications have advertisers, guest editorial things being written. They're advertising there because they're trying to get to your ideal client. These are the people that are working with your ideal client every day. They're trying to expand their network as well in either media tours, paid advertising, and the like, but ultimately giving you a good research tool to be able to find these type of people. Once you have found who you're going to be reaching out to, let's talk about how we can foster that relationship and build it. So what you want to do is actually look at how we can first build a relationship. And so let me give you a quick sort of off the cuff sort of email that you could send. It'd be, hey, John, I noticed and listened to podcast episode, whatever, and the XYZ podcast name. I really enjoyed when you were talking about this specific topic. We both focus on helping this industry, but we don't compete at all. I thought it would be great for us to meet and see if there's an opportunity for us to help each other grow. Let me know if you have 15, 30 minutes next week for us to connect and get to know each other a little bit. In that conversation, I want to give you a little bit of a framework when you're considering this conversation. You're not going to pitch them in any way. You're going to ask only about them. And this is actually going to give you a great indicator of who this person is. If this person doesn't ask anything about you, they're not going to be a good network and referral partner. They're not, because they're entirely focused on themselves. The ideal person that you want to be considering here is the person that's, connect here and, oh, have you heard of this person? Have you thought about this person? Do you know this person? These are the people that ultimately really enjoy connecting people. And that's a specific type of personality type. And those are the ideal person, not saying that people that are not that personality type aren't great referral partners and network partners. They absolutely are. But you want to make sure that there's some commonality and some actual goal to actually help each other. Then the question is going to be is what type of content are you putting out? What type of marketing are you doing? Is there something I can help your existing client base with? Is there something that we can do together that provides your clients or your network or your community with some value? And you're just going to offer, and you're going to be in support, and you're going to help the people that they serve, and ultimately the people that are going to hire you and are willing to spend the money will. And you're going to be able to attract those people. As they have relationships with people and you've built a relationship with them, they are also going to be a source of referrals for you. As you have started the relationship, you're going to stay in contact with them in different mediums of, hey, I was writing this blog post, thought it might be interesting for you to be quoted in it. Hey, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live, and maybe you'd be interested in actually being on the live with me and actually talking about XYZ topic. So you're going to include them in your contact. You're going to stay in contact with them every 90 days. And ultimately, help them grow too. Provide value to their community. If you've got a client that could use their services, send them along. Help that client or that person that you're in contact with, help them by actually helping solve their challenges by putting them in touch with someone that can help them solve the challenge, and help each other actually grow. And that is the whole goal of a network relationship and a referral partnership is that. So how can you go about doing that? So the actions that I want you to take after this training is I want you to go find 10 referral partners now. And I want you to go send an email to them. You should be able to get anywhere between 3 to 4 between that one email to a second sort of follow-up. If they don't respond, leave it alone. But you should be able to get a couple of meetings from that. And if you do that every month, you're going to be able to build a really substantial networking relationship of people that can be a great referral network for you. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to comment below. Happy to chat about anything you have in relation to this topic and get you going and getting you some leads in the door.